Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of For the Girls. We are talking about single versus married friends. It's about to get real. So the first thing we're gonna kind of chat about is what's the difference between like the conversations and the hangouts of single versus like boot up friends.
Oh my gosh, we were literally just talking about this.
Well, I mean, with your single friends, it's definitely like well, I remember when I was single, the whole agenda was to go out, find someone who's going to buy us booze because cocktails are $20 and why would I pay for that? Right. So you're like naturally like you're just in a space where you're already prepared to engage with opposite sex, right? It's going to be a turn up. There's going to probably be a few shots. We're going to go from the restaurant to the day party to the after party. Like, it's a different vibe,
You
right?
need stamina.
Oh, girl, I used to. Like, nowadays, like, it's a wrap. Like, I'd be in bed by 11, okay? Mama needs to go to sleep. And then, like, with, like, your married friends, I mean, it's definitely still a turn up because all of my married friends, like, married turned up people, right? So it's still a good time, but it's different. It's a little bit more laid back. The conversation is different. Like a lot of us are in a space where like we have children, we're thinking about having children, we are married, we're about to get married, we're about to buy a house, like we're trying to do career changes, like we might be contemplating moving out of state. Like
Investment was
what's
a
the
big
school
one.
system like? Like you're not talking school systems to your homegirl who's on her fourth shot. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a little bit different.
Yeah. We were just talking about this. Like we all went out a few weeks ago and it was like a couple's night and like even the activity. We went salsa dancing. Like, are you doing that with your single friends? Are you going to a salsa class? I mean, I'm sure you can.
You can.
But not a couple's one, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, we went to dinner and the conversations were all those topics you just said. Like, our kids growing up, the stuff they're going to have, like freaking school districts. We're going to move into this school. Well, we want to move into this school. We talking about what? Au pairs.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
I learned that.
Like I literally need a nanny. How did you vet your nanny? Like
Au pairs. Like, oh my gosh, I wish I had an abuela who's
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
Alina
Yeah.
on the weekends, you know?
Yeah.
So our conversations, me and Shane were talking about sleep training the last time.
yeah. We're
But,
struggling.
you know, with my single friends who I love dearly, and I just hate to do like single, married, you know what I'm saying? But it's there. It is what it is. And my single friends, the conversation is different.
Yeah.
It's different. And I will say, you know, when I first thought about this, you know, do y'all get left out of single friend outgoings?
I mean, yeah, but
And how do you feel?
I'm okay with it now.
Yeah.
I don't have any FOMO now.
Right.
Before I had major FOMO.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fun person.
Yeah.
I'm very extroverted. Before I became a mom and a wife, like I like to go out. I just do. I like to be around social people. Like that's how I recharge.
Right.
So like at first, like I had major FOMO. Now, like I'm good because my life is in a different space. Like I'm okay with just being at home on a Friday night with my man and my baby,
Right.
and going to sleep early and waking up early on Saturday morning and taking a walk with the
blanket.
family. You know, it's like
cozy
I'm just
blanket.
I'm in a different space and I don't have FOMO anymore because I already did that. Like I lived a very fun life. and now that I'm married and I'm a mom, doesn't mean my life is not fun. It's just it just looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference to me and you guys know this because you're my friends, but I've never been like a club person because I did it so much when I was younger, like before I even moved out here. So what I found and really enjoy is like when I first met all of our friends, I was the only one in a relationship, like at all. I was engaged and everyone else was like totally single.
Super single.
And
super for the streets.
No one could ever tell that I was the one person that had like a boyfriend because I still kicked it the same.
Still be outside.
Like we definitely, me and Dre have a lot of trust and like we still have a good time. We go out, we do stuff, but I never was like a club person. I love having conversation. I love having like moments where like I am not trying like, what'd you say? Because the music's too loud. I love having space to like dance and have a good time. So one thing that I realized is like as all of our friends started to get booed up, the activities started to change a little bit, and we would start doing more like home kick-its and just like wineries and like brunches and things that are more about us getting together and having quality time. So I feel like that's the biggest difference is like when your friends are in relationships, you normally they want to get with their girls to talk, to like talk life, to talk about mommy things, to talk about like their passions and like their careers, and like it's just a different level of what we're talking about. We're talking about real life stuff, because once you have a person, you start to have a different type of purpose. And it's like I love that type of kick it. So I would say when it comes to the hangout, that's the big difference for me. But then conversation, like I feel naturally more comfortable talking to my friends who are in relationships because you guys can relate.
You're in the same space.
And that is something that I would say I don't like go to my single friends and like talk to them about anything like Dre or I related per se.
I mean, they don't have the
like,
same
what are you gonna do? Give me advice?
Yeah.
Couldn't possibly, you know? So it's like, that's the two biggest things for me.
So I want to say something about like hanging out with your single friends as like a married woman or a woman in a relationship.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to still hang out with
Oh my
single.
gosh,
I mean, not even I think it's okay. Like, let me. It's okay to hang out with your single friends, right? You need that because they're still your friends. Like just because you got a man, like you're like, bye, bitch, I can't hang out with you no more.
Yeah,
you're not married.
You're lonely.
Like no. But it's like yes, but you have to be careful about how you are moving. Like when you're around your single friends, when you guys are out, right? Because your single friends are out here doing single shit, and they can do that because they single. All they have to do is worry about themselves. Yeah. But you have other responsibilities back home, right? So when you're out with your single friends, just be mindful of like how you're moving. You can't move like how Shorty moves because you don't have the same life that Shorty has, right? So like if you guys are like hopping around from like bar to bar or like going out to the nightclub, you shouldn't be getting in another man's car to drive from one spot to the next. Like, no. Yeah. You shouldn't be engaging. You shouldn't be like overly friendly, you know, when you're out just so you can get a drink. It's like, shorty, buy your own drink. Like flirting with this man just for a beverage is not where it's at. You know what I'm saying? So just like, as a woman in a relationship, just be mindful of how you're moving. Because I got in trouble with this early on in Shane and I's relationship. Like
when? How early was it?
The first few months, like maybe like the first like 3 to 4 months. Like, cause I told you guys before, like I was in the streets and I liked being in the streets. I liked being social, right? And so like how Bree said, we were all single. I think I was probably like the second or third one to actually get into a relationship. So like, and we have like a group of like 15 girls. Yeah. So it's like most of us are still very much so like, yes, like where are we going tonight? And so I was still, you know, in that space when Shane and I first got together. And like Shane kind of like had to check me, like, look, how you're moving is not okay. Yeah. Like if we are going to be a unit, like you represent me and I represent you. Don't have me out here looking stupid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he really had to check me because at first, like if you go back to like an earlier podcast when we talked about like independence, like I was like, at first I was like, he can't tell me what to do. Like I'm my own woman. I'm grown. I'm gonna do whatever I want to. And if he doesn't like it, bye. And I was like, no, but I don't want him to leave. So
I like this
I
one.
like it here. So I really had to like be like, he's right. Like I had to check my ego.
Do you know what you were doing? Or like what happened?
Let me think. I'm trying to think about like what's like an actual example. So I used to like, okay, I used to be like, I'm going out with friends and I just like would leave at like 7:30 and never check in.
Gotcha.
Like I wouldn't check in and I would get home drunk as fuck.
Most of the times I was dropping her off.
And it would be like 3 a.m. I just like walk in. I'm like, Shane. And he's like, where were you? Like, you didn't think to check in? And I'm like, I was with my friends. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a respect that needs to be there. If he gives you the okay, and you should have the okay to go out and hang out with your friends, but also like be mindful that like you have to respect your partner while you're out. So like if you're going from spot to spot, like how hard is it to fucking check in? Like, hey baby, just let you know, like we're good. We just leaving this spot. We're going to this spot. I'll probably be home like later than I anticipated. I just want to like let you know so you don't have to worry. Like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be more than that.
Yeah. Hey, that's vice versa for men too. Like,
oh, for sure.
That's
an expectation. Shane has to check in, and if he doesn't, girl, when I tell you, listen, y'all, I am Afro Latina. I'm crazy. Okay, like I start creating narratives in my mind, stories about what this nigga's doing out in the streets.
Lord.
Like, so my man knows he has to check in, but it goes both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I very, very early on, I realized I had like a drinking problem.
Oh, me too.
In a sense of like when life was going on and things were stressful, I would go out with or without Dre and just get way too drunk. And when I was with Dre, like he can't stand being with me when I'm drunk. So it was to the point where he had to have a conversation with me, and it had nothing to do with if I was with single friends, couple friends. I could be by myself.
It was a brief thing
at the bar. And I just was getting to the point where he had to sit me down and be like, hey, we need to have a conversation. Like this has got to change. Yeah. And once I saw me on camera one time, I never went back, never happened again, because I was like, that's how I be? Oh, she needs to stay locked away. But it's the same thing when it comes to friends. I feel like your men will communicate with you and let you know if like, yo, I don't really like the way that this person moves, or I feel it puts you in compromising situations, or this person is just not a good look. Now, however, I'm kind of 50-50 on in terms of, because I've had friends that my man has told me like, oh, I heard she be doing X, Y, and Z and she's not a good look. And I'm always like, don't judge a person, but you don't know her. And I always find any excuse.
Is good for the Captain Sabo.
Yeah, I'm just out here throwing life jackets and rafts to all of them.
Gosh.
But the biggest thing that I say is like, I don't personally believe that, you know, if you're around certain people that has anything to do with your character. I'm very big on like, you know, this person can move how they move, and I can have love for them and be out with them and have a good time, and like they should not reflect me. And I know that from a society standpoint, that just doesn't always happen, but I'm okay with someone thinking something of me. If you don't know me, then I don't care what you think.
Right.
But that is major, because you don't want people to look at you and it reflect negatively on your person. But me and Dre are very big on like the way that we act and the things that we do, and like what our relationship like is allowed to have in when we're together or not together or whatever. So I think it's major in your relationship to have those conversations, because some people might be very different. Like if me and Dre didn't kick it the same way, then it would be difficult. Like we would have to really be like, okay, what is not okay? And since we've been together, we only had to have that conversation one time when I didn't do what I was supposed to do when I was out by myself. And I didn't even realize how big of a deal it was, because our whole relationship, we went where, like I said, I was with single friends the whole time. And I've always kicked it how I kicked it. And all of his friends are single, and he kicks it how he kicks it. We had that one conversation, and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, that was wrong. And so as long as you have communication, and as long as your single friends respect your relationship enough.
Yeah, there's boundaries that have to be
in situations that are just like, ooh, this is not good. That's all that matters. And the time I did what I wasn't supposed to do, I was not with any friends. So that's good.
This is true. But yeah, I mean, you know, like kind of like going back to like the boundaries being in place, like you have to communicate that. Like if you guys are social people and you want to go out and kick it, and like you want to go to a club with your single girlfriend because she has like the connect, like that should be okay. But there has to be boundaries in place that you and your partner talk about. Like one boundary for Shane and I is that we have a curfew.
Yeah,
like,
I was just about to say the same for us.
Yeah, we have a curfew. Like at 2 a.m., you need to, if you're not home, you need to communicate with me that you are on your way home. Right. Like, and it's like, I mean, because there's nothing good in the streets after 2 a.m. Okay.
But, like, not even that. They believe it or not, and I did not know this unless it was communicated to me. My husband can't sleep until I get home. He said it's something.
Oh,
he
I'm
said
the same way.
Something he said it to me. He's like, something happened when we got married. Like, before, he would be asleep when I got home, but now he said something happened when we got married where I can't sleep till you get back.
Yeah.
And he encourages me to go out with friends. He loves it. He loves when I come back tipsy because he gets exactly what he wants, how he wants it.
Shane likes tipsy Cece too.
He's, oh, you going out with Bree? Yeah. I'll put the baby to sleep. Yeah, because he knows I'm gonna come back in a certain way that is beneficial to him.
Come out and
Come
play.
here.
He said it's a little different, and he likes that. But boundaries, the communication. He needs to know that I'm okay. He needs to know that I'm gonna be back, and I need to be back at a decent time because he cannot go to sleep without me, and that is fine. I'm not gonna get pissed at him. What? You can't go to sleep without me? What the heck? No,
Yeah.
like. Oh,
You are his world. You're his rock.
I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna come back safely. I think like when I hung out with you one time, I was so drunk that you like called him or texted him or picked up the phone, and you were like, "I'm gonna let her stay here, and then I'm gonna send her home," and that like because that's what he needs. That's what he needs. He needs to know that like I'm okay. And
Angela's a lightweight, y'all. Also,
I am too.
No, not like her.
oh yeah, like this will probably get a
One
little
glass
tipsy.
will send her overboard.
I mean, no, you guys, I got tipsy from like 2 glasses, and then I woke up. I had like 3 more glasses after that, but then I woke up like next day with that super hangover. Off of just wine.
yeah, wine will do that though.
I used to be able to drink a lot. Not saying that I wasn't a lightweight, but I just kept pushing through.
You know,
my
age changes things, y'all. I'm a little older than y'all.
I think for me, it was having a baby.
That's what I've been told.
Well,
Somebody
also went like a year not drinking, so that changes.
no,
it
that
for
changes
sure.
things.
it.
And I mean, and like, I don't know how much I believe it. I'm not a doctor, not a physician, but someone said things fall differently inside of you after you done had a baby.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
So the hangovers, the recovery time is always a
girl.
little different for me. But again, Sean enjoys it when I get home. So, you know, and he takes it with open arms, but I gotta get home. And that's because to respect my husband, who cannot sleep unless his wife is home, I'm going to make it home. I'm not going to stay over your house. I'm not going to stay over unless it's like, oh, you're having a girls' night, I'm sleeping over. Like, that's prepped in his head. But, you know, and as his wife, and I think as any woman, you got to respect his boundaries. And that's his boundary.
You have to.
And but how do you know a boundary if it's not communicated?
Yeah.
And then on the same end, are we communicating that to our single friends, what the boundaries are? And I think I have, like to the point where I don't even get invited out anymore.
I mean, yeah, me too.
Which is,
Me too.
at first I used to
be the fun
you said
girl.
you didn't care. I kind of cared when I saw them out on Insta. And I was like, damn, they didn't tell me.
I did.
But then like I took a moment. I'm like, okay, but I probably would have left that early.
Exactly.
Or maybe not have gone at all.
I would have went and then been upset. Like, why am I here?
Right.
Like, that's what started happening too. Is like, I would like go out and then be like, I would rather be at home laying on the couch right now.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well then stop betraying yourself. It's like, if you don't want to go, then don't go.
Right.
Like recently, so it was like a point like a few months ago where I just like kept canceling my plans.
Yeah.
And Brie got like,
Specifically on me.
Brie got so upset.
I'm like, none of these things are crazy, like commitments. What the heck, Cece?
I
We
was
were
like-
grabbing lunch.
I was just like, yeah, guys, just kidding. I don't want to go. Or like, I can't make it. Like, I was just, because I just didn't want to.
I mean, your baby's 6 months.
Exactly.
Your baby's not sleeping.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're up at 3, 4, 7.
Like, girl, I haven't
Girl.
slept in 3 days. So like, I was just like, okay with canceling plans. And like, now I'm just like, if I just don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeses and your no's.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to like betray myself anymore.
Yeah.
So how do we
I love
feel
me.
about talking about relationships when it
so-
comes to single versus
Why would you?
married friends?
Okay. I have a question. Like, so Angela's husband is like the Hulk. Okay.
Yeah, Dre, is this the moment where you pull the picture up of
Right.
Sean?
Can we show Sean and how hulky he is? Right. So if I, want to lose some weight, tone up, I'm gonna go to Angela's husband because that man knows what he's doing. Right? It's like, so like you go and you seek advice from people who have achieved the results that you're looking to achieve.
I get where you're going. Go.
Why
Go.
would you, as a woman in a relationship that's having a hardship or just like maybe a disagreement with your spouse, why would you go to one of your single friends, who you love and respect, but why would you go to one of your single friends who doesn't have the experience, who hasn't walked the walk or navigated down the journey that you're currently navigating? They don't have the answers.
Right.
You don't have the answers, Sway.
Right.
So why would I come to you?
Exactly.
If I'm gonna go to someone, I'm gonna go to someone who's
the
in the same journey or has way beyond me.
Because the advice that's given, it's way more tangible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up a
it's understanding.
specific example. So, my husband, his love language is touch.
Mm-hmm.
After the baby was born, we had some issues getting back into that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Same.
uncomfortable conversation. My husband brought it up. Like,
Same.
I need some butt, is what he said to me, point blank and period. I need some butt.
Same.
And I took it so offensively. Like,
Me too. Like, you just don't understand what I just went through. I just made this baby and pushed it out. I don't feel
I took
sexy.
it so
I'm
offensive.
fat.
Right.
Like,
And he hears all that, but he's like, yeah, okay, but my love language is touch. And he's like, I'm communicating this to you. I took it so offensively. Anyways, I run out the house. And I'm like, walking around, running around. And I call a married friend. And she's like, he's right to feel like that, Angela. Yeah. Like, so I calmed the fuck down, went back, had the conversation with him. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and bust it wide open for you tonight. However, I want to get back there. And I hear you and I'm sorry. But if I had called a single friend who's not going back.
Girl, he's tripping.
He don't
How
understand,
could he?
right? And I'm not saying necessarily if I called a single friend, that's what would have happened. But I called a person who had 2 kids, similar in age to mine, and she was like, we're going through the same thing.
Can I say something on that too? And I think that like when you are in a space where you feel like you need to talk about something regarding your partner, I think that there should be an order of like who you talk to, right?
Ooh,
so I think first and foremost, it needs to be your partner.
That's A.
Okay.
Pause. Let me put this here before you keep going. Who you talk to, like my husband and I, we had to figure it out. Like, we don't talk to nobody about our problems. Like, it was to the point, the only person I was talking to about my problems was his mother. It was causing so much issues because I knew she was going to love him regardless. Yeah. But it was causing so much issues to the point where he's like, you have to stop. Yeah. So I literally stopped. Like, the only person I talk to my problems about is him. Yeah. And then I come to y'all later like, oh my God, y'all, he irritated the shit out of me.
After y'all working things out. Yeah. So the order, first and foremost, needs to be your partner. Okay. You need to communicate how you're feeling with your partner. Yeah. Point A, period. Yeah. The second person should be a professional.
Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
If you're having an issue and you've already tried communicating it with your partner and it's not being resolved, seek professional help and then try to navigate that space to learn new tools.
Y'all, we're working on ourselves now. We're not against therapy,
which is why therapy is super
important. And then the third person is like, if you're just in a space where it's like, girl, I just want to vent. Yeah. Then you call your girlfriend or your guy friend, for our gentlemen watching, who can relate to your situation.
Understand.
Yeah. Okay? Like, that's the order.
Right. Yeah, because y'all aren't going to give me the, oh my gosh, like, we're just having a recent conversation about issues. And me and you were like, you got to communicate with him. It wasn't like, F him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It was, you got to meet, like, you know, and back in the day when you're talking with your friends, your girlfriends, it's like, man, fuck him. Fuck him.
Girl.
Come out.
like
There were a lot of fuck
come
hims.
out.
to you.
Yeah.
Like, girl, there's another him.
Yes.
You want to go meet him right now?
And not even that, you tell them their problems and then they have a hate towards him at that point.
Yeah.
It's always there.
It's like,
I remember.
I'm
this
pretty
and
sure if I
that
told
and-
all my friends, even y'all, some of the shit that Sean and I have been through that we've worked out on our own, y'all would still be like, well, he did this. So at the back of my brain, you know what I mean? So
And I think even deeper than, because obviously that's the advice for the people who are in our shoes, but for the single mamas, I don't understand why when they're going through things, like why they're getting like relationship advice from
the
other
other
single people.
friends, yeah.
Like if the girl's in the same boat with you, y'all are going on the same.
girl, y'all are
same,
sinking
same path.
together. You're
Yeah,
sinking
it's like
together.
if the boat's
There's no
going
life
down,
jackets.
you're both going down. And even when people are newly transitioning from single to like a potential, you know, like a boyfriend who could potentially be a husband, it's like watch who you're sharing your information with and who you're getting inspired by, and like, you know, who you're getting all of your knowledge from.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not knowledge, it's a friend who, even though they love you, subconsciously they don't want you to have what they don't have.
Yes.
And so they might give you advice that subconsciously is not the greatest advice, because
that's one thing that Shane had to also, like, in the beginning, like, harp on me about is oversharing.
yeah.
Oversharing.
I got harped on with that too.
Oversharing
Yep.
about our relationship. Like,
I had to bring it back
because,
down.
Because I was like, oh, well, I'm an open book. Like, I just don't see the problem. Like, they're my friends. He's like, okay, yeah, I get that. Like, you can talk to your girls, but like, just be mindful of like what you're sharing. Like,
But
they
even
don't.
taking that like a step further, like, oh, you can be open and communicate with your friends. Sean was like, but what about me? Like, he flipped that shit on me, y'all. Like, you could tell your friends and be open and communicate with them. But, you know, when it's time to be open and communicate with the person you're supposed to be with, you're not doing it. And it's like, oh my God, you're so right.
like, oh, I hate him when he's right.
So, like, that is to your point. The first person you need to be open and communicate about problems with is your spouse.
And I think the easiest way to do that is by doing like couples counseling, couples therapy, because most people don't know how to communicate
10 out of 10
effectively.
recommend.
Like yelling it out is not the same. Like sending a text is not this. It's like you have to know
Called adult
how
tantrums.
to talk to
You have
your
adult
person.
tantrums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, when we're talking about the difference between single and married friends, as married women, what do you guys feel is the biggest benefit of your married friends? And when I say married friends, I don't mean the individuals. I mean like the friend or the married unit. So
Oh my gosh.
having
It is definitely the black love.
Well,
I love being
okay.
around it.
Yeah.
Like the last time we all went out, it was like what, 5 of us, 5 couples, and we were just all dancing on our men, drinking. We were in the club with single girls around us.
Wait, stop. Let's paint this picture because this was funny. I remember looking around and being like, wow, we're those people.
We were
wait, what was happening? I don't know. I was drunk, so I don't know what.
We
I
were
was drunk too.
we were in DC at the park, and we were on like the 3rd floor. And I'm looking around, and it's like it was like towards the end of the night, so like everyone was chilling. Like when I say like people were like about to leave the club, and music's going. We're right by the bar. All of us had drinks in our hands, and I look around. All the women are like dancing crazily on their men,
like
except
twerking.
except for our one friend. We're gonna shout them out, Tennille and Marcellus.
He was twerking on
they're
her.
opposite, yeah. Tennille was getting twerked by her man.
Yeah.
He was
He was getting it, and she was
Giving
catching
it.
it.
She was into it.
She was catching it.
So I'm looking around, and what I peeped was like our dancing don't even match what's playing. Like we
matter.
were in our own world. Cece was in the corner giving like full,
Mamacita.
It
Yes,
was just so
I think that was
funny.
the outfit she had on too. She had a Mamacita outfit.
Yes, because
Yes.
we went
Yes.
salsa dancing, and I remember just being like, "This feels so good to like."
That's what I said,
Look
like-
around and see all the people that you
When I got
love,
home,
and
it was
the
just a
people who
black
love them.
feeling.
I think for me, it's like I feel like I don't know, like what's the word I'm like looking for? Like secure. I feel safe.
Yeah.
Cause like even if like my man walks away for like a little while, or he sees someone he knows and he's having a conversation, and I'm like, like around like all the other husbands.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I have like bonus husbands.
Like your
Like,
brothers. your
Yeah,
big
brothers.
It's like they're gonna protect me no matter what. Like they're gonna like look out for me. They're gonna buy me drinks. They're gonna do whatever. So like like that's also dope.
And it's also what's really cool is we're all rooting for each other.
Yeah.
Like we're all like, yes, you're engaged. What's going on?
Yeah.
How the dress is going? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Yes, baby. How's she doing? Is she sleeping through the night?
Yeah.
You know, yes, Bree, when is it coming? Bye. Girl.
Pregnancy
Yes, right. Yeah, like pregnancy patch. Who's coming down with me? You know, that
Not
type
I.
of thing.
We'll get her there.
Yes, we got to get her there. We got to get her. We got to get her.
Anyway,
It's after that.
moving on.
You know what it is when they're 2 and they're getting out of those diapers. That's when you start being like, oh, I could do another. And that's where I am.
Or we can just continue to stack this bread.
Okay.
Send baby girl to private school.
yeah.
Get the $1.8
Right.
million house.
Oh, yes.
Or we can do all that.
But no, okay, bringing it back. That is the best. It's just like everybody's rooting for each other. Everybody, it's just good vibes. Like if I'm sitting there talking to last night I was talking to Shane. And you, I don't even know what you were doing.
Oh, girl, who knows? Who knows?
But I was talking to Shane and we were talking about sleep training with 2 drinks in our hand at a bar. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know why I always seem to like kind of like be by Dre.
Right.
Typically.
Right. You know, like
I guess because Dre's, he's kind of like home to me.
Yeah.
Like he feels like home. Like, cause like y'all are like some of my closest friends.
I normally gravitate towards Sean. It's funny because every time the couples, like, it's always like a girl talking to the other guy, and it's just like we kind of rotate.
like, could we just shift husbands for
Yeah.
a second?
Right.
I'm tired of talking to mine. Can I talk to yours for a little bit?
but the thing is, when I'm talking to your husbands, I'm talking about you. You know what I
And
mean?
that's what I was gonna say is the biggest benefit for me is like the guys. Like I'm a guy's girl. Like I always have
girl's girl.
loved being friends with guys. Like I don't know. It's and I love my friends now.
Yeah.
And I didn't have real girlfriends until moving to DC, but I like that I get to have like guy relationships too with guys who I know obviously there's no ill intent at all.
Right.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
one of my
Yeah.
best friend's
Right.
husband.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm married, so it feels like a brotherly like
Yeah.
love.
Totally brotherly.
Yeah.
And also, you're okay with leaving your man around like y'all. Like, well, first of all, I will say this. I don't believe that we have any girlfriends that I wouldn't feel okay with leaving my man
Right,
around.
right,
Even
right.
like the single ones.
friends.
Like we have super solid friends, right? But like say like some new chick popped up. Like, shorty, I don't know you. Like I don't
Right.
you can't just leave your man around just anybody. And like granted, I trust my man. My man is all for me, all about me, all day, every day. Okay? And I know that. But still, it's just like, shorty, don't test me. I'm trying to tell you right now, don't do it.
And then there's about what? 4 other sets of eyes looking like, girl, don't try it. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody got your back.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like a comfortability thing. It's like you just feel comfortable like around the other ones, especially like we do a lot of couples things together.
Yeah.
So it's just like we know each other so intimately, and like we just truly enjoy just being around each other. So
I was gonna say another benefit for me is travel, because I feel like it's hard to travel with couples unless you're married, because you know they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've made plans with like people who like weren't married and then it and
like,
ends
oh
up
girl, I'm
falling
not with
through.
him anymore.
Yeah, we're not together anymore. So it's cool that you have like these lifelong friends that you get to enjoy, not just the women, but like their unit and like a unit together. And it's like, oh, you and us and you. It's like I love that. It's so much fun. And just like the house stuff, right? Like going through celebrating all of our wins, like when we're buying homes, when we're having babies, and when we're looking at our future homes, and when we're starting new careers. It's like it's a different type of support system, I feel like, when it is married couples specifically. And Dre does this thing where he will not put himself around my friends' men unless they are like really serious, like engaged.
They're long term. Like,
so
I don't want
couples nights.
learn a new dude that's gonna be around for like a few weeks.
And there's so many like friends are always like, oh, can I come to the next couple's night? I'm like, are you engaged or married? Then the answer is no. Because if you're not a forever, like, if you're not going to be here for the long haul, we're not about to
like,
put
maybe
our
next time.
energy into getting to know old boy.
Okay, side note, Bree throws the best couples nights. Like,
She
when I
does.
say she hosts the shit out of a couples night.
She does.
We got to plan our next
Honey,
one.
the last one, first of all, she had a taco spread. Then she even got stuff from Amazon. What game show were we imitating?
What is it called? About last night with Aisha and Steph Curry. Yeah.
It was so much fun. But
Aisha.
yes,
She is really good at that. She's really good at a lot of things, but she's not good at? She's not good at matchmaking. So like,
why do we have to bring that
up?
So
if you're a single friend, don't let Bree try to hook you up with anybody.
let me just state for the record, the couple that I did matchmake.
Okay,
they have
how
been
many?
together for
How
over
many
10
were before
years.
that?
It's not about your failures, Cece. It's about the wins that come from the failures.
Y'all, her track record is like.
Okay, well, let's put it this way.
125.
I tried to hook Cece up with a guy who made her realize
Shane was the
when
one.
Shane came that he was the one, and that what she was looking for was wrong. So my matchmaking did not work, but it taught you a great lesson that led you to your husband. Let's think positively here. Yes, I'm trying to put down the matchmaking stick because it hasn't worked in a while.
Yeah. Okay.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Glad we got that out there.
Yeah. But okay, so how are you hanging out with your single friends now? Like how are those conversations going with them? Like, so for example, and the reason I'm asking that question is obviously, I'm getting left out the single night extravaganza. So the ones that I do hang out with, they come to see me at my house and they hang out with me like one-on-one. Yeah. It's like, how is that going for y'all?
It's never changed for me. I don't not get invited to things. I'm fun. And
I don't get invited to things anymore.
Bree's a good time. So I don't know. But also I think there's a difference. I don't know if you're in like a group chat with all of your friends.
Yeah, I am.
So they go out of the group
do like
chat
a whole
and don't
side,
invite you to
yeah.
Really?
Oh. Damn, they shady.
Well, welcome to our friend group because geesh Louise, I don't think me and Cece have had that.
We don't have that
We're in
issue.
a group chat of women who are married, single, engaged, dating seriously.
Right.
There's a mixture of girls and everyone's invited to everything.
Yeah, and then I think that like when our single friends want to go out and do single shit, they like literally like pick up the phone and call the other single girl. And they're like, hey girl, let's do some one-on-one stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
So, yeah.
So this is what we're gonna do. Angela, welcome to our friend group. You will be invited to all the things because that's mean and we don't
I don't
like
think it was mean. I think, I think it's just they probably knew I probably wasn't gonna be able to make that happen in the capacity that they wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
So, but however, I want to say that, you still love them and you still support them. But I guess the seasons, right? We say people change with the seasons. So, but I will say there are single friends who are single who still come to my house and they hang out with Alina and they talk to me and Sean together and we have
a lot of I have a lot of single friends who like come over just to like kind of like talk and like vent about like their singleness,
right?
And
they
like,
get advice from Sean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He gives like Sean be like, that nigga right there.
I mean,
just
it's
trying
funny,
to fuck. Like you know what I'm saying?
With our group, like when Bree was the only one in the relationship, that was literally the entire group. Like they would just come over, Bree, Dre, this is what I'm going through, and then we get advice, and then we wouldn't apply it, and then we would.
You wouldn't apply it.
Be like, yeah, that sounds so great.
good.
Let me go do the opposite.
But I'm going to keep talking to him because whatever.
Right. I will say that friends do change with the season, but I think the ones who are like single, not single, divorced, what the f ever. Like, I think the ones who you genuinely love and you have that relationship and foundation, they're going to continue to come around. And you're going to continue to come around and support them.
Yeah.
So something that I had to learn, and I mean, I'm still learning it because I like I said, I overthink sometimes, and I'm also like overly nice. But is understanding that like certain friends don't have to be like your best friends, or like every relationship is different. Yeah. Or like I used to feel bad for not letting go of some of my like older friendships, like from high school and stuff, because I'm like, oh, like I feel like I have to do all the things, but then when you really sit back and look, you're like, but these people don't do any of the things for me. So one of the things, regardless of single or married, that I feel I've been getting better at is like deciphering between who are genuinely my friends. And when you know who those people are, just being more intentional with them specifically. And that has allowed myself to like give me more grace, to stop extending myself to so many people. And what I notice is majority of the people I am being intentional with are the women that are in relationships, just because birds of a feather flock together. So it's easier to be closer to the people who have similar lifestyles to you. And it doesn't mean that you can't have fun, or that because we're married we don't kick it. Like, no, not at all. But we can kick it together, and we can kick it with our men, and we can just move a little differently, you know?
You know, like, just real quick, to talk about like letting go of friendships. I recently just had an ex-friend that I haven't spoken to in years, like probably like 4+ years. Like, she reached out to me on my birthday and like wished me happy birthday. And like at the end of like our little like text exchange, she was like, so like, are you open to like linking up and catching up? Girl, I left her on red. Okay. So then,
I know. So I do not have enough energy.
Then the next day, she commented to like one of my like stories on Instagram, and she literally said again, she was like, so hey, just wanted to like see like if you're like interested in like linking up. And I left that on red too. And you wanna know why? And like, that's definitely sounds harsh.
Yeah.
But I feel great about it.
Okay.
And I will tell
You
you
think
why.
you should just tell her?
Right. Let's respond back, at least.
Well, yeah, she knows now. But
You
Sorry.
respond back at
Should I?
least. Yes.
Is that too harsh?
You should.
Let me
Is
tell
that
you,
too
so like,
harsh?
I have to do this often.
Because I have literally zero interest in linking up with her.
I think there's a way
She
to
was
say
she was a
it.
very like negative person in my life, and like
You don't
I
gotta
was
tell her all
I was
that.
so grateful to not be her friend anymore.
No, I feel you. I have to say this very often, and it the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But it's just about being honest, because at the end of the day, what you don't want is for her to essentially be confused as to like, did I do something? Did I say something?
Yeah.
Like, did I do something in the past?
Okay,
that
yeah,
made
so
her
how-
not?
how should I say it?
I would just say, hey girl, like, you know, it's so sweet that you asked that. And like, unfortunately this year I've been really focused on making sure I don't overextend myself. And I have a lot of really great friends right now that I don't even give my full, you know, intention or my
good.
full time to. So it's just not a good time for me, but I really appreciate like the offer, you know? And then
Okay.
for her, she's like, oh,
You're
okay.
right.
So it's not like
You're
I'm
right.
a bad person.
Okay,
She
I will
just-
definitely
she's
say
ignoring
that.
me.
So I'm just not out here ghosting people, because that is rude.
Yeah.
That's rude.
She's sorry.
See, we were honest. We told her like, oh, Cece, that probably wasn't the nicest.
Wait, you know what's funny? You know who told me to just like not reply was
Shane?
Shane?
Shane has a very like no fucks mentality.
He no fucks. He's like, so what? Like, fuck her.
It is with your job too.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, what are you doing? Working? Stop. Why? You don't care about these people.
He's like, fuck this job. You'll get another job if you need to. Like, I'm like, okay. Well, fuck it.
No, you should at least
No,
respond.
y'all are right. You
Yeah,
guys are totally
you
right.
should at
You guys are
least
totally right.
respond.
Shane's wrong.
We
I'm
love you,
blaming this on
Shane,
Shane.
but this needed the feminine touch on it.
Yeah, no, you guys are right. You guys are right. You guys are right.
Yes.
Okay, so we decided on our last episode that we're gonna close out every show with a cheers and kind of cheersing to something. So let's pick up our glasses.
My wine is almost gone, so I need to
Hey,
refill.
I actually did good, y'all, because you know how I do.
I have a lot.
yeah.
Wow.
Am I a wino?
You just really like this
Yeah.
wine, is all.
I definitely want to
I'll catch up. So let's cheers to friendship, both single and married friends. Yeah. The pros, the cons, and everything that comes with it. We love our girls. And this is for the girls.
Yes.
Cheers. Can we reach? There we go. Ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Ah. Do we get the gulp? Yeah, I got it. Thanks so much for tuning in for another episode of For the Girls podcast. Make sure you check us out on YouTube as well. Subscribe, comment. Let us know what you guys want to hear, because we have so many more episodes to come and we want your opinions.
Many more.
Yes.
Thanks for watching.
Hey,
Bye, y'all.